Welcome one, welcome all to another episode of the Normal One TV. Now, apologies folks, I was supposed to do more videos this last week or so, and I just got caught up with work and everything else that I haven't been able to. And this is my first opportunity to do another one, and I've been thinking about what I should talk about. And I've been fortunate enough that a group that I am involved with on Telegram, the Liverpool Talk, good bunch of lads they are. Trust me, they are top. They are the ones. And I've suggested an idea which they think I should cover. And so I suppose I want to touch on a few things, a couple of things actually. I want to talk about the World Cup. I want to talk about potentially some of the players we're kind of linked with, or who's going out, potentially going out, I should say. And my biggest bugbear of all is the officiating. But before I get into all of that good stuff, obviously, please like, share, subscribe, hype, do all that good stuff to just, so I can grow the channel. And I should be doing more videos in truth, I should be doing more practice stuff on it. But what I enjoy doing is I can just talk as and when I want to, and do it as I feel like I want to do it, because I think that's what's important. I think obviously this YouTube space is used for people to make money on and all that kind of stuff, and who knows, maybe it might do it for me one day, but I just want to do it because it's a good kind of distraction from normal life, and also just to kind of keep in touch with my community, as it were, that I've got now. So the World Cup's here finally, and it's been pretty decent actually for the first sort of 2-3 games. The first game was filled with red cards and goals, which is good to see, and I'm quite excited about it actually, because it's you have to wait for ages for the World Cup to come in, and sometimes it can be built up to this thing, but so far from what I can see is that there's some football that's been played. Even sort of England's warm-up games, the first one was a bit boring as hell. The second wasn't too bad, to be fair. And it looks like Rio is making some good strides in terms of the international side. He scored his first goal, I guess, unofficially, if you want to put it that way. But I heard it was a bit of a screamer, so brilliant. I mean, onwards and upwards with that kid, and I hope to see him really make some big strides in the new season under Iraola. And I've also noticed predominantly the refereeing in these games, and they are not taking any shit, are they? Which is brilliant to watch, because also they've brought out new rules, which are going to stop this stupidity that Arsenal are employing in the last couple of seasons or so. The delay tactics and the throw-ins and the corners and all that. Now that's becoming really prevalent, and it's going to stop these twats next season doing donkey shit and start playing some actual football. And it kind of got highlighted in their final against PSG, because the referee didn't stand for that either. So they definitely are going to put it in place next season, as far as I'm aware, which will stop Arsenal doing this crap, and they will then end up having to play football, which means they'll get beat. That's my honest opinion. But they got some good players in there, and they should be playing better football than what they are, rather than stop-start tactics and just jumping up and down like a jackass every 5 minutes on the sidelines that Arteta does, and being shot in the back and diving and all this crap. I absolutely hate it, and it's being deployed in our league, unfortunately. Which brings me a nice kind of nice segue into general officiating, which I think I said it on one of the channels, is that VAR is now running the game rather than the referees. The guys are not allowed to make decisions, and it's destroying our game. It's really becoming an epidemic in our game now, where the referees are absolutely clueless in terms of what to do in certain scenarios. If they didn't have a clue before, they certainly don't have no clue this time round. And, you know, I wanted VAR to be a tool that they could use to help assist referees when they do massively fuck up. And it doesn't. It makes the entire thing worse. And there's countless of different things like that we've seen in the seasons that have gone past, like the Luis Diaz goal, for example, that got ruled out. And, you know, it's just sheer incompetence. I mean, we're supposed to have the best league in the world with so much money coming in and all these top players and managers and whatnot, and we can't get our officiating correct. Like what? It's like building a house on no fucking foundations. What's the point of doing that? You know, I complain about it every time that, especially last season, how bad and how shit that they are, and nobody can interpret the rules anymore. We don't know what handball looks like these days. People got subjective views on offsides, or what constitutes a 50-50 ball, or, you know, they just don't seem to have a grip on this whatsoever. And I think it's done by design. What I mean by that is it causes controversy, which then brings more people, more viewers to talk about. It's become EastEnders with a football, basically, because they know it drives viewers because they've got something to talk about. If you hear these commentators, they're just talking about complete shite on TV. They're talking about what they had for dinner and all this kind of nonsense. And then when something happens in the game, which it always does, then guess what? Something to talk about. They're not talking about football anymore. And this also drives, you know, just talking points every week about the officiating rather than the football. I found myself 2-3 times last season talking about actual football, that, you know, the way a certain team kind of played, or somebody deployed a new tactic or something new or fresh, for example. Do you see that bit of skill or whatever? Predominantly it was all about the refereeing. And they're fucking unfit as well on top of all of this shit. They're carrying more timber than I am. And I'm, you know, fairly skinny, but I've got a bit of a dad bod. These guys, I've seen them live as well. They cannot handle the pace. And these, you know, you're talking about pure athletes now. We're not talking about like 20, 30 years ago when you have like 10 cigarettes and 2 pints and go play football anymore. They're specimens now. They work so hard to get to a physical peak. And you look at some of these referees and they look like they need to hit the gym and hit gym hard, or go down a chippy and stay there, mate. You know, it's just awful for the product that we have, for all these good players that we attract, and the managers and whatnot, and the money we pull in. I mean, I don't think the Premier League's the best league in the world. I don't think it is. I think it's the most expensive and most richest in the world for sure, which is why we're able to attract these players and whatnot. But we can't seem to get our officiating correct, which is why it drives us mad. You know, I was so het up at one point where I thought maybe one of these clubs might take these bastards to court and appeal for certain decisions that are happening. And actually, just on that point, Burnley are going to be paid 40 million from Everton for doing some stupidness. Right? Now, that happened swiftly, and we're still waiting for the Man City thing to kind of come to the fold. You know, all these things are kind of destroying the game, but I think fundamentally from a instant thing, let's sort the refereeing out. You know, there's very few times I saw games where I thought that the officials aren't talked about and they're doing really well. But it happens every bloody week. Not just my team, all of Arsenal, Man United, City, you name it. The decisions are baffling. They are baffling, and I can't figure it out. And I'm pretty sure you guys can't either. And I wish they can just sort it out. You know, some of the foreign referees I think are better. And if we do have any Premier league referees in this World Cup, which I imagine we do, watch how shit they become. And the decisions the other day where there was 3 sending offs in the South Africa game, you could probably argue they were probably a bit soft, but it's definitive in that sense, And they tried to turn over the process of using VAR and a referee quite quickly, which is good to see. But we just need to get back to fundamentals, back to basics. What the fuck is a handball? What the fuck is an offside? All these different things. Is a toenail offside? I mean, that's just mad to me. I like this idea that, if your half of your body or more is further than the nearest player, that's an offside. If your nose is too big and it's just offside, well, no, it isn't. It's not offensive. There's no advantage to that whatsoever. It's then down to speed. If you're standing exactly, in line with your opponent and your ears sticking out just a bit beyond, that shouldn't be it. So hopefully that will change, and maybe it is. Maybe that's being looked at. And also these, the corners. My God, like the amount of times for Arsenal sticking the ball outside the sphere where it's supposed to be, or taking so long to take a bloody corner. All that's going to stop from next season, which is going to be great. And I reckon they're going to get penalised heavy because, after all, Arteta plays anti-football, doesn't he? So that's going to stop. But yeah, that was my sort of 2 pence worth on officiating. I'll probably will still moan about it no matter what, because I think we're just inept as far as that's concerned. And I want a better footballing season generally, not just for my team, but for the whole league. It'd be nice to see some football being played rather than this, false nines. Let's have a proper striker, or inverted this, inverted that. Let's just play some football. Let's have some 4-4-2s, 4-3-3s and all that lot. Let's have some wingers and all that. Let's see some technique. Let's see some skills. Let's see the footballing brain being engaged, as well as tactical, and being in the right place, right time. And, I want to see some football again. And I'm hoping that the World Cup is the springboard to that we're able to see some really good stuff and take that into the new season. And I've got a good feeling about Iraola as well, the way that how he wants to play the game. And I think we're going to have a bit of a rude awakening for some of these guys. For the last 2 seasons have been pretty much on holiday under the stewardship of Slot, because that's how he treated it, that they're going to put some hard yards. I think Ariola's going to break them. Most of them. I think 1 or 2 might be used to it because under the Klopp era, but certainly the majority of them are going to shit the bed. That's what I think anyway. And I hope, these guys have got to run. They've got to literally be on it right from word go, and they're going to be working hard. They're going to be blowing out their arse, and quite rightly so. Be prepared for a change, and certainly in terms of how our impetus in the game and our proactiveness and our aggression, our tempo. We're going to see proper Spanish football from this manager for sure, because we saw it with Bournemouth. We saw exactly what they did, and you could argue that they didn't. I mean, for the size of the team that they are, I mean, they've done really well to finish where they did, and that's testament down to Iraola and how he got his plays working. And now Iraola's got some good players to work with now. I'm not saying he didn't have before, and there's some really good players that I'd love to see come across to us, like Krupi or Rayan, for example. Love to see Sanderside sign for us, but he's gone to Tottenham. Fair enough, that's all cool, but I'm sure we're going to make moves in other areas. But he certainly has an eye for talent, and I can see Rio being used more. I can see our academy being used more, and I'm looking forward to some football, just some normal footy. None of this holes in the midfield or not running back or stupid mindless passing for no reason or hoofing the ball or not really knowing what to do, being a bit clueless and a bit gassed out. I don't want none of that. All that last season, I don't want to see it anymore. And if the players that we currently have are coming in, currently, I should say, rather than coming in, aren't up to the task, well then get rid. A little bit sad to see Kanate go, I'll be honest, in terms of what he brought. But clearly money was his intention. And so you've gone to the most rattish place in the world, which is Real Madrid, which is all about that, and he goes. And Trent certainly got found out, didn't he? And who knows, he's probably going to be dropped because he's not good enough. He went there for the money, so great. Having said that, I would consider having him back in terms of what he offers in terms of his passing, especially as a right back that we've been missing. And I'm probably thinking he might entertain the idea. He is, after all, one of us. And the way that he went out, I did not like it at all, and I still don't like it. It still doesn't sit well. There's wrong ways of actually, departing. Look at Robertson and Mo Salah. We gave them our blessing. They were up front with us, whereas Trent was a bit of a rat about it. So, if he returns, yes, I'll support him for sure. If he doesn't, you're in the right place, mate. So, that's my thoughts on that. Yeah, as I said, I'm looking forward to seeing more of these games and how the World Cup will unfold. I've been thinking who might win this tournament, and it flits between France, Germany, and possibly Spain. I can't decide which, if I'm totally honest. I've got to see them play first. I think I want to see the first couple of games and see how they're produced to kind of really get an idea. There is this thing in my head that perhaps England might be there or thereabouts, because there's a lot of work what Tuchel's doing in terms of getting the team to gel and become as one. And I think that's half the battle, is if they want to work together and play together, they've got to be together. And I think Tuchel's trying to work on that so they are one unit. So that could spur us into something. But England are England because of. Do you think we're better than we are? In truth, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'd love to see us do well, but I think there's other countries out there that play better football. In my humble opinion. What do you think? You tell me. Tell me what you think about the World Cup and who do you think might win it. Tell me what you think about the new rules that are going to be put in place next season and what they're doing now, and the officiating. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the referees, because as I said, it's a pet peeve of mine. And tell me what you think about Iraola. Do you think he's going to change us dramatically? Do you think it's a backward step or a sideward step? What do you think? It'd be good to hear. I'm optimistic, and I would have been down and depressed if Slot's still been here. That's for sure. And they've done the right thing. We're not typically a sort of a fire type club where we would fire managers on a knee-jerk reaction. I think they thought about it. Whoever decided to pull the plug on it made the right call. Thank you for the title-winning side. You steadied the ship for that season when we thought we were going to have a massive drop-off, which never happened. But then you could say that the league was a bit shy too. And then we really saw the true colours in the second. And I think it was completely unacceptable for a club of our size and who we are. And they did the right thing by getting rid of Slot. And the way he went out is the same way he kind of came in. It was just underwhelming. Let's put it that way. I didn't feel there was feel a bit sorry for him. I just didn't. I think he was so disconnected to us in a massive way where I'd quickly probably put my right foot right for his arsehole rather than give him a pat on the back and say thank you for the memories, mate. Because he was that disconnected. And that's what's really important for our club. And this is one of the things that Iraola did say, that he wants to get fully immersed into Liverpool, and he said that most of the guys will be away on World Cup and holidays. He's going to make sure that he integrates with the staff that are there, that are still working behind the scenes. You know, people that do all the work that you don't see, that are really important. And Klopp did that straight away. And I got this feeling, I got from the way he talks and how he behaves, is that he's all in. And also, he's taken a 2-year contract because he feels he has to earn the right. And I love that shit. Now, it could be that you could look at it the other way and say, well, if Liverpool really wanted that guy, then they should put the faith in him and give him maybe longer. I can understand that. However, managers can have 4 or 5 year contracts, be complete shit, get sacked, and then they're in another job. Earn your stripes. I don't think Arne earned his stripes, really and truly. I think he caretakered for that season that Klopp left, and it got found out completely. And hence why we have to pay out to cancel his contract. And he's probably sat in Ibiza counting his money, doing whatever, I don't really care. So Iraola's way of thinking, let me earn it. And if he earns it, then we'll put another 2-year contract on the table, and so on and so forth. So yes, he earns the right to earn his stripes, and I think that's perfect. It's perfect, which means it's not all about the money, it's all about the football. And that's all we care about, is the football. Never mind the fucking money and all the rest of it. We care about the football, and we want to see good football, and we want it back at Anfield. We want to be Fortress Anfield once again. You know, there's a reason why we were like that for so many years, and Slot managed to turn that into a pile of shit instantly. So I want us to be that. I want the opposite team to be scared to come here and think, shit, you know, we're in for a hard task. We've got to work hard. You know, I want the options to feel that. And I want us enjoying our football again, and let the boys enjoy the football again and do what they're doing, and be, you know, fight for each other and have that sort of telepathic understanding of where everyone's going to be, rather than sort of a hit and hope that we saw last season. And, you know, one player out of the 11 is busting the gut and the rest are not. And putting players in the right fucking positions. Jesus, how did I miss that? You know? I'm surprised that tit last season and put Alisson up front. Might as well. You know, he had nothing else to lose, I guess. But anyway, enough about that idiot. Yes, just bring me back football. Bring me back my Liverpool. Bring me back to my Liverpool. That's all I want. And it'd be lovely to go and see them live again, because I didn't get to go this season just gone, obviously. Want to change that, and I'll pay whatever money needed to go and do that, especially if I see the football coming back home, as it were. On that note, guys, I think I've taken too much of your time already. Thank you for the feedback I'm getting, as I said, from on obviously the comments on here and the channel that I'm involved with. It's, as I said, I find it a massive honour. I really do. Yeah, it blows my head up a bit, you know, and I'm really truly grateful. So yeah, please, for the ones that are new or just getting to know, please punch up those likes, share my video, put the comments in, hype it. Be lovely to get some more subscribers as well. And I should do more of this. As I said, I'm a bit sort of happy-go-lucky with this at the minute, because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm not expecting anything monetary-wise. I'm not really bothered about that, if I'm being truly honest. I just enjoy connecting with you lot, and hopefully I can connect. And yeah, guys, listen. Thanks for listening to me. Tune in again soon. I don't know when my next video is going to be. Maybe in a couple of days. Could be a week. Who knows? Let's see what I go on. But until then, obviously, look after yourselves. Enjoy this weekend. Enjoy it with the loved ones. Enjoy the World Cup. Relax. You know, let the football and Liverpool take care of itself in the background. Let them guys do what they're paid to do, way more than we are. And just go and enjoy it. The weather's lovely today. You know, share it with loved ones. Keep keep this spot on. You know, mental wealth equals good mental health. Trust me. It don't want to be depressed. Don't want to be getting you down. And there's a lot of it. You know, we're fragile beings, of course, but we are stronger than that. So always, always, always connect to people and listen. Reach out to me. If there's something going on that's troubling you, I'm happy to listen to you. Trust me, I am. I've been there, walked it, done it. I know how it feels like. You know, it's not good being in dark places. And I had a friend who many years ago took his own life because of it. And I know how it feels. And he was one of the best people I've ever met in my life. Probably most influential as well in a certain kind of way. And you wouldn't tell from his face, but here you don't know. So talk, reach out, talk. So important. And hopefully this is the community to do it in. You know, I'm happy to come away from football and talk about you or your mental health if needed. That's what I'm here for. I get a good sort of kick out of empowering people and helping people. And I hope this channel does this too. So I've digressed. Listen, guys, have a good one. Look after yourselves. And as always, you never walk alone.